You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
This freedom is anything but free. What we have here depends on those who will fight for what they believe. When we stand together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. This nation of people standing as one in the name of liberty.
All right, folks, welcome to America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. It is the Friday edition, and this is going to be one of those freaky Friday editions because guess what? We're throwing the rules out the window. We're throwing the station clock out the window. We're just going to kind of do what we want to do tonight because it's Friday, and who the hell cares anyway? Speaking of, for those of you hanging out in the chat room, and if you're not there, this doesn't apply to you, so you need to get there now. No, we will not be supplying the alcohol. However, I've decided we're going to have a new Friday drinking game on the Friday show. This excludes all hosts, by the way, because we can't technically drink while we're on the air, apparently. I tried to run this by the station manager, and she frowned upon it. So if you are not a host and you don't have a show coming up and you're hanging out in our chat room, anytime I say the word literally, which if you've listened to my show, you know literally happens all the time, you are free to take a shot. It's Friday. What the hell? All right, I also have a co-host tonight. His name is Claude. You may know him from Twitter as Social Claude. And we're actually going to be spending a lot of the night talking about this crazy thing that's come out about Twitter called shadow banning that everybody thought wasn't really a thing until we kind of found out it was a thing. It's actually apparently happened to him. So we wanted to have him on tonight so he could kind of give his input about what happened, what he did to fight it, etc. for those of you that still may be struggling with the Gestapo, aka Twitter. So good evening, Claude. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right, I guess. I mean, it's Friday. It's it could be worse. It's not Monday, so that's there's a plus there. And we just
we just started
no a drinking game. So.
well, I don't really drink anyway, so it's no loss to me.
Oh, you're no fun. That's all right. I really don't. I don't drink much either. I have a beer every once in a while or something, but not really much else. So. Whatever. But anyway, actually, I have to steal this idea. Chad Alexander, who's actually been on my show before and is actually a friend of mine through KOKC, he had someone that I don't remember what word it was, but somebody had sent him a tweet that anytime he used a specific word, they were going to take a shot. And I'm like, I've got to do that. So, and I was like, literally is the perfect word for us to do that. So if you're in the chat and you just heard me say literally, feel free to take a shot. So
is that a word that you overuse, by the way?
A lot, actually. Yes.
You literally use it too much.
Yes, and actually, I just remembered what word it was for Chad. It was apparently because he overuses that one, and somebody picked that up on his show and is like, anytime you say the word apparently, I'm going to take a shot. And I'm like, hey, I can do that with literally because I literally say it way too often. Just ask Ron, who gets on to me for it all the time.
So anyway, I guess we can start with the shadow banning. Sure. Just to give people kind of an overview, I took some notes here, so you have to excuse me as I read them. Anyone who's familiar with Project Veritas, anyway, they basically do sting operations against various groups. Like I think they exposed Project Acorn and they've gone after the media. And the latest one is they did a sting operation against some Twitter engineers. and they have them on video describing how conservatives were being targeted with something called shadow banning and other measures to basically silence conservatives. I looked up the Wikipedia definition of shadow banning. It's also called stealth banning, ghost banning, or comment ghosting. Is the act of blocking a user or their content from an online community such that the user does not realize that they have been banned. By making a problem user's contributions invisible or less prominent to other members of the service, the hope is that in the absence of reactions to their comments, the problematic user will become bored or frustrated and leave the site. That definition is obviously, problem users. I don't consider conservatives to be problem users, but that's the definition they have. So anyway, on January 18, I found out that I was shadow banned. I immediately took action. I contacted Twitter a couple different ways. One way was through a kind of a form I found. It was really hard to find where I could actually contact somebody, but I dug around and found that. And the other way is I used their Twitter support bot, which is basically you send a direct message to this and you start a dialogue that way. And if you can jump through enough hoops, it gets sent to a support person. So I did that, and I also made public what was going on, and I determined that I would. One day later, the ban was lifted, so I won. And just for my own sanity, I tried double checking, am I still okay? And I did this today, and I'm fine. So anyway, so how do you know if you've been shadow banned? Well, one way is there's some online test websites, and find one that doesn't ask for login credentials or anything like that. And I found one. It's shadowban.de/tester, TESTER. And you can always, Google that and look for shadowban testers, and you'll find a link to that. But anyway, I'm in the clear now and happy. And here's kind of a related thing that happened yesterday. And this is thanks to somebody who was trolling me on Twitter, and it's one reason I don't block people. The only people I have blocked right now are actually like commercial accounts that are promoting tweets, like Google or Bank of America. I just, that's a way to stop that. But I don't block other people in the trenches like myself, even my opposition, because a lot of times they'll give you some information that you need. And somebody went to a website called botcheck.me, and this website said that I was, I appeared to be some kind of a bot or a software program, and I guess presumably from Russia or somewhere. And so I decided, well, this isn't right. So I found out who owned this website. I sent them a tweet, and then I also found a contact email on the website. I contacted them, and I told them, I said, I'm not a robot, and I'm not from Russia. And they said that they would look into it and manually check and get this, get me out of this database. And within a few hours, that was all fixed. I think the moral of the story is, if you see something like this, don't be afraid to push back, but do it respectfully, and the odds are you might get some results. And so anyway, that's why I'm sharing all of this. I'm hoping other people can benefit.
Now, you had mentioned some different websites that you had gone to kind of get some ideas that you had been shadow banned. Do you and I know you'd mentioned at least one so far by name. Are there any others that you could maybe give people as kind of a tip to check things out, maybe if they think that's happened to them? Because I actually know a couple of people that have said, I think that's happened to me before, but it's usually only lasted about a day or so.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've used. But there is a trick you can do on your own without a website. Is in the Twitter search box. Well, first of all, log out. You don't want to be logged in, because if you're shadow banned, this won't work, because Twitter will basically make you think that you're seeing what you other people aren't. So you log out, and then you just go to Twitter via the website, and in the search box put from : and then your Twitter handle mine would be @SocialClaude. So you put from : @SocialClaude for me, not logged in, and then if you're shadow banned, it'll say no results, and that's what the world is seeing if they search for you, nothing. Now that doesn't mean you've disappeared from Twitter in other places. I noticed that I wasn't totally banned from everything. It's just that in that way I was, and that was the most obvious way to figure this out. So anyway, you can do that yourself. You don't need to use a website for that.
Cool. I was going to ask you how you did that, because I saw that you were putting out or showing people pictures of this is what it looked like 24 hours ago and this is what it looked like now. So that's actually one of the things I was going to ask you was how you had done that, because I was like, how in the world did he even get it to show that nothing was coming up for him? Because I tried it while I was still logged in, and and even when I thought I was shadow banned before, which actually turns out there was like a 24-hour period that I was too, and I just didn't know it at the time until somebody that had been through it before had kind of described what had been happening, and I'm like, oh, that explains why I had zero traffic for like a day and a half. I'm
beginning to wonder if the bot check site is somehow related to this, because you pick up little tidbits here and there, and one little anecdote I picked up was that somebody said they were shadow banned, and they finally got Twitter to figure out what was going on. Is that apparently Twitter thought this person was a bot, one of those Russian bots, which is basically a software program sitting somewhere in overseas. And so I'm beginning to wonder if there's a connection between apparent bot behavior and this shadow banning, but it still kind of points to Trump supporters and conservatives. That's kind of the bottom line here. I haven't heard of anybody on the left complaining about being shadow banned. Have you?
No, I can honestly say I don't think that's ever been anything that I've heard anyone from the left complaining about. So, I don't have that many leftists that I talk to on a regular basis. So, but even if you go out and you specifically search for things like shadow ban or something like that on Google, most of the time when you see it come up, it's usually conservatives that are complaining about it. I don't ever really think I've ever seen a liberal complain about being
exactly. And what bolsters that viewpoint that we are being targeted, you and I and other conservatives, is the fact that the Twitter engineers verified it in the sting operation. And I think that Twitter's probably going to reverse course on this. Now that people are looking, and now that we have proof of what they were doing, and maybe that's one reason that when I complained that I got mine lifted. Now, somebody could think, well, maybe that's just a coincidence. But if you look at this from the kind of the global or the macro view, it's not likely it's a coincidence.
Yeah, no, we've had this discussion before. I firmly really don't believe that there's any such thing as a coincidence when it really comes right down to it. Because it's just in my experience, there's never really anything that happens by coincidence or happenstance. There's usually a solid reason behind it. It's just we don't usually know what it is sometimes until much, much later. And that's, the same argument had been made for the last couple of years in regards to shadow banning. Oh, it's just a coincidence that people can't see the stuff that you're tweeting right now. It's just a glitch with the thing. They just did an update. It's, blah, blah, blah. No, it turns out they really were trying to keep people from being able to see a lot of people's content. One of the things that kind of freaked me out about the Veritas videos was they were like, dude, we specifically mute redneck style words. I'm like, what the hell is a redneck style word? What does that even mean? So anybody that tweets out the word y'all or youans or whatever, it's like, no. Just the concept of that, it just astounds me that we've come to that. And, it's one of those job that I do, and I usually don't, but I will tell you that one of the things that I've noticed in the day job that I have is the ease with which and within an hour and 5 minutes had been basically called every possible name that you could think of. I had someone who wished that I would be condemned to hell and butt raped by Satan, not using those words.
Why would they be saying that?
Because they're angry.
Oh, okay.
But still, I mean, it's just, you don't know me from Adam. We've never met, and you're going to tell me that you hope I get.
Not react in kind, and what's the Bible phrase? Turn the other cheek. That's what I do. I don't respond to that, and I'm not going to feed that kind of negativity in other people. There's something I realized today that's kind of related to this. We're talking about the coincidences or not. Something else that has been noticed, which I think is an actual glitch and not a feature of Twitter. Some people have said to me, and this happens about once or twice a day over the past week or so. Oh, well, I try to retweet, they'll tell me, I've tried to retweet one of your tweets and it's saying your tweet is deleted. And I haven't actually encountered this. And if you just keep clicking and retweeting it and trying, you'll notice the counter on the retweet goes up, and it is being retweeted. It's just a glitch. The tweets are not. I don't know why it can't find them, but just so if people notice that, just try again, and your tweet will get retweeted. The one that you're trying to retweet. It's just. So I don't want people to get too paranoid about when they see something on Twitter. I mean, it's a complex piece of software, with a lot of moving parts and different servers all over the planet and all that. So there are going to be things that come up like that are not everything is a conspiracy, is what I'm trying to say.
So it's a glitch, or is it?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I'm just playing. All right, so let's see where we are here. No, actually, I'm sorry. I'm used to keeping up with the network clock, and since we're not doing that, I'm like, no, we still got like 7 minutes till we got to take a break. So I want to get, because you had mentioned that you had someone else that we were going to try to have on the show today to discuss shadow banning. I know that they didn't come on, but did they happen to share with you any of their experiences as far as this whole shadow banning thing?
Well, what happened was somebody must have searched for the hashtag shadow banned, and they found my success tweet that basically said I got it lifted. I won, and they said that they discovered that they were shadow banned, and I offered to help. And what I ended up doing was I asked them to write up a little blurb that I would turn into a meme. So I did that, and we put it out there, and they are now claiming that it helped get the ban lifted. Now, that could actually be a coincidence. Maybe, because they had complained and stuff too. So this might be a coincidence, or I actually helped. So, I like taking credit for success, but I really can't. But that's basically what happened. I helped them get the word out. And made and then we got quite a bit of sharing of this meme, and it may have helped. I mean, that's pretty much what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything that we can do. I mean, the one thing that I will say is since the Project Veritas stuff has come out, Twitter's a completely different place. I'm seeing people that I hadn't seen in forever that are actively showing up on my TL and stuff again, which is kind of interesting because I'm like, dude, I thought you'd left. And they're like, no, I've been sitting here tweeting this whole time and nobody could read any of my stuff. And I'm like, oh, that explains that one. But yeah, so it's interesting because like my reach has improved since they've done that. There's been all kinds of things that just are completely different now that the Project Veritas stuff has come out. So I'm pretty sure Twitter's, at least for the moment, they're ramping a lot of that stuff down. Now we'll see how long they keep it I hate to use this phrase, but a level playing field between conservatives and liberals, because I'm sure it probably won't last long.
Well, here's the thing with that. If you think about this, as far as I'm concerned, the conservatives have taken over Twitter in terms of controlling the dialogue and what directions things move in. And I think that Twitter actually depends on conservatives for their financial well-being. If what I'm thinking is true, that we are responsible for a bulk of what's going on, and at least in America. So they need us. That's what I'm trying to say. So it would be a really bad move to try to push us all out. That would be crazy as a business decision, or maybe they don't care. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they don't care, just to be completely honest.
Yeah, well, maybe they're starting to care, or maybe they're afraid of becoming, having to go before Congress, and then people start talking about regulating them as a public utility, which could happen. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily a good idea, but that's what could happen.
Idea, but you know what? Anytime the government gets involved in anything, all it does is get exponentially worse. So I have a huge problem with that too. I mean, I understand people's thought process on it, especially, but I mean, the thing about it is, Twitter is a private business entity. It's no different. I mean, to me, it's really no different than the cake bakers that everybody's throwing a fit about. If you don't want to bake a cake for a gay couple, nobody should make you do that. If Twitter doesn't want conservatives on their website, nobody should make them do that. My question, and one of the things that I've been asking for forever, is where are all the conservative coders to come up with, actual things like Facebook and Twitter that really are centers of free speech, like we keep saying that we want. But the thing that I have noticed, and I used to be just as bad about this until, believe it or not, a liberal friend actually pointed it out to me. For every conservative that talks about how much they like free speech, they'll be the first ones that take a victory lap when somebody they don't like on a certain social media platform gets banned or gets a Twitmo timeout or whatever the case may be. I don't really revel in that type of stuff, and I don't really like censorship. Now, I used to be the exact opposite, I'm not going to lie. When we first started doing all this stuff, it started as a Facebook page, and it started as just me doing my own solo Facebook conservative page, and then I got bored with it, so I invited a liberal friend over to help me run it, and then anytime anybody was ticking me off, I was like, dude, that's it, I'm going to ban that person. He's like, you know what, for a conservative who keeps talking about how much you like the Constitution, you sure still don't seem to like free speech. So, and that's when my view kind of shifted on it, and that's when all these people that, like now we have all of these college campuses that are up in arms about conservatives coming to speak, and they need safe rooms, and they need that. Look, if you don't want to hear a conservative's message, then just don't go listen to the message. Why do you have to ruin it for everybody else? If you don't like something that somebody's saying on a certain social media platform, I mean, unless it's completely vulgar and unless they're threatening someone or threatening to harm someone, then why do we really have to have all of this monitoring stuff? I mean, we can mute people, we can block people. I don't really believe people should be reported unless it's something actually explicitly dangerous. But that's just something that I've kind of learned over the years of doing this. Because if you're going to believe in free speech means you take all of it and you filter out what you don't want to deal with, because that's what's called being an adult, in my opinion.
Well, you're right. I mean, when you're talking about free speech and censorship, and I think we have to separate a discussion between government involvement and private entities. And a private entity can have community standards. As you said, it's a private entity. Now, here's the problem, though. Twitter and Facebook have become kind of the hub for the cyber warfare between the left and right. And for conservatives just to say, okay, we're going to start our own, which I think they have. It's called Gab AI or something. But
I don't really consider
if you separate if you separate yourselves in if we try to separate ourselves out of Twitter, where the battle is going on for the kind of the soul of the country, I don't think that's such a great idea. I think we have to stay here, and I think we have to keep. And thank God for Project Veritas. It gives us some leverage. I think we have to stay here and keep fighting and pointing out these things when they come up, and because this is the battleground.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that to a point, but at the same time, I don't really, I mean, and I'm not saying we should pull away from Twitter all the way around. What I am saying is if we're going to be censored and we're going to be filtered, then we need to be able to come up with a place where we can actually have actual free speech and, communicate and coordinate and talk about things that matter without everybody going, oh, you put out that tweet 3 months ago? Why am I just seeing that today? And there was supposed to be some big rally and I'm just now finding out about it. That's part of what bothers me about Twitter, because social media has actually become a form of communication. And that's one of the reasons why they're talking about regulating it as a public utility. I understand the logic of it. I just don't like that's part of the reason why I was glad that net neutrality got killed. I don't like government intervention in things because that kills the ability to innovate. I mean, if we had if we had the phone version of net neutrality back in the day, we'd all still be using rotary phones.
Indeed. I think that I think we have to be careful and deliberate in how we think about these issues and not, what's the saying, throw the baby out with the bathwater. There is a lot wrong with social media. But, when you bring up, creating a new platforms, I think even with the noblest of intentions, and no matter what you create, it's going to devolve into something like Twitter and Facebook, because people from the other side are going to infiltrate it. They're going to, pretend to be conservatives and try to drive wedges between us. And we do a good job of that on our own. I mean, conservatives right now are fighting over DACA, which we can talk about later. I think that, as I said, I think the best plan for us is to stay here and fight, stay with Twitter. And I don't do Facebook, but for people who do Facebook, I know it's an important place too. But stay with these platforms and fight. And maybe on the side, have our own platforms for maybe, like you said, suggested for organizing and stuff.
For me, Facebook's not really anywhere that I do too much of anything political anymore. I mean, I have the show Facebook page over there, and I have my professional Facebook page. But for me, most of the time, if I'm on Facebook, which I rarely am anymore, and I actually have people that get on to me all the time because they're like, dude, you forgot my birthday. I was like, dude, I open Facebook like maybe twice a month. That's how I keep up with birthdays now. Don't judge me. But yeah, so it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't use Facebook much anymore. And part of it is because, and Jen and I were talking about this a bit last night, part of the reason I don't use Facebook much anymore is because when I post anything that somebody disagrees with, I come under immediate attack. Now, I don't do that to anyone else. Honestly, most of the time, I don't even comment on things that I don't agree with anymore because I don't like being attacked the way that I have been being attacked by people, and it honestly, it upsets me, probably more than it should, especially since on Facebook, most of the people that I deal with are people that I consider friends and family. So the fact that they are just willing to come onto my wall and just tell me that I shouldn't post this and I shouldn't say that. So people see it from me all the time. I'll be like, you know what? I don't usually post things on Facebook anymore, but this is kind of important, so I'm putting it over there. And it's like, as soon as I say anything political, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be pro-Trump, it could be anti-Trump, it doesn't matter. As soon as I post whatever I post over there, whoever doesn't agree with me is all over it, and I'm just done with it. I'm tired of coming under attack for expressing an opinion. That's what Facebook and Twitter and everything else is for, is not only, for those of us that are trying to use it to help promote our businesses and stuff, it's also to put opinions out there and to interact with people and share opinions and get feedback from opinions as well. But why does all the damn feedback have to be negative?
Good point. My strategy is to not reply to negativity. They have a right to say it. I would rather kind of just start discussions rather than get embroiled in them. I think that's a waste of my time. So you've probably noticed that I don't usually reply to trolls. It's rare for me to do so. One reason that you don't want to reply to them is that they're trying to get you banned. They want you to fight back and then overstep, the bounds of discourse. So they'll do something right on the edge and maybe attack you, and then they want you to attack back, but even more. So then they and their friends can try to get you banned. I've seen it happen all the time. So, and I've been relatively okay with the Twitter police. I think I had one or two 24-hour kind of, I don't know what they call them, suspensions, but that was way back. Now I've learned my lesson, and so that's one reason I don't reply to the negativity. But it's sad for me to hear you say that you don't want to express an opinion because people are just nasty. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, especially it's different for me. It's different with Twitter because I have people that I know personally on Twitter, but it's not anything like it is on Facebook. Like when I'm using my actual personal Facebook page, most everybody that I'm connected with on that page is people that I have either met in person or people that I know through people that I've met in person. Through my traveling throughout the country when I was a kid, or different conventions that I've gone to and I've met people. So it's different when it's me putting something out on my personal page and I come under attack. And it honestly, it didn't used to bother me. It got really bad during the Trump campaign because, and we've had this discussion before, so I'm not going to go into it, but I was not a supporter of Trump during the campaign at all. I've relatively and recently come on board for the most part because I like a lot of the things that he's done and things that he's accomplished. But I was posting all kinds of things that to me were pointing out that there was a really good shot that as far as all the numbers could tell you, he was going to lose and we were going to wind up with Hillary if he was the one that got the nomination. Thank God I was wrong. But anytime I posted anything, it was like I came under immediate fire from actual family members who were telling me that I'm not conservative anymore and I should just get off of social media and I should do this and I should do that. And that's just when that's another reason why things are pretty well compartmentalized for me. I do radio under a name that is not my real name, and I've told everybody that. And the Twitter account is basically where I promote most of that stuff, or the show's Facebook page. And, we'll drop links or stuff on my personal Facebook page that's under my real name, but I really don't talk to people about that stuff over there. Because I've had people that have just, people like real life friends that have stopped talking to me because I'm a political talk show host and because I'm a conservative. That's the scariest thing for me. Because I would rather hear opinions that I disagree with and try to explain to people why I disagree with them so that maybe we can come to an understanding and find middle ground. But everybody, all they want to do is scream and yell at each other. But on that note, we have gone really, really long. I threw the clock out the window, but we still got to take at least one break. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, so stay tuned.
You're out here acting so tough, and now I'm calling your bluff. Black hoods and no faces. We'll take it out to the
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Well, folks, you see, what had happened was I have too much stuff on. It's a little glitchy, but we are back. So we're going to keep talking, and eventually we'll figure out when things start catching back up again. See, the bumper eventually stopped. But for me, it's actually showing it's still playing, so I'm really confused. But anyway, so hope everybody had a great extra long break. Sorry for the dead air. For those of you listening to the podcast version, you hopefully won't know most of what I'm just talking about because we'll edit out the dead air. But yeah, so this is what happens when you try to do too many things at the same time on a single computer. It says, F you, I quit. And then it was sitting there doing nothing for like 5 minutes. I eventually had to go in and kill a bunch of processes to get it to wake back up again. But okay, so enough of that. So we were talking about shadow banning and craziness and people hating on each other, and we're just going to kind of keep going from there. Claude, you had mentioned a topic that you had wanted to bring up while we were stuck on perpetual break mode.
Oh, well, actually, two things. I want to, if you let me, plug my Twitter account now and at the end of the show, because I'm approaching 10,000 followers, and that's since October 2016. And they're mostly good followers. I go through them. People follow me. I check their profiles. If it's not obvious they're somebody I'm interested in. And so anyway, that's quite the milestone. And so if anybody wants to help me out and get me to 10,000, I'm on Twitter. It's Social Claude. And if you search for me, you can find me again, because I got that taken care of. And I shadow ban. So that was one thing. The other thing is, and everybody's talking about this, but I guess we can talk about it too. It's the infamous or famous, depending on your point of view, memo. 4-page memo that the Congress has in their possession that it's claimed they're going to be releasing. It's going to have damaging info about FISA abuses. And the other issue was the miraculously reappearing Peter Strzok and his mistress's text messages. Apparently 5 months worth of messages were retrieved by the Inspector General of the FBI, and who I think has a bone to pick with Obama and his holdovers, because he took a lot of abuse from them. So he's probably anxious for some justice for everybody. So anyway, that's kind of the topic. Those two things, those text messages and the memo.
So what are your thoughts on the memo? Because I have to admit, it's been a little weird for me, because all the text messages have suddenly come up from out of nowhere, and I guess one of the biggest things that everybody was having this big hullabaloo about was this supposed secret society, and I guess from some of the text messages it seems like it was more of a joke than anything else. I honestly don't know what to think about it. I just, at this point, I want everything released, to be honest. I want the foundation for the FISA warrants released, so we know where that information came from. I want the memos released. I want to see all of it, because I don't care who did what anymore. I just want to know who did it so we can fix it.
Yeah, as far as the secret society thing goes, that's still up in the air. I think that it's easy to label something, a joke or a conspiracy, and that's just being lazy. I think we need more information, as you just suggested. As far as the FISA memo goes, a couple days ago I pointed something out, and last night I heard Dr. Sebastian Gorka, who used to work for Trump as an advisor. He said something that I said before him, that the Republicans need to release this right away, because you're giving the Democrats a chance to, maybe they leak it themselves to get ahead of it, or they leak portions, and I think that's already going on. And I think that they need to do this sooner than later. And the other thing they need to think about doing is, don't just release the memo, because the memo is a set of conclusions. You need to provide some of the, and you can redact it if there's any sources and methods and that kind of stuff in it, but you need to release the supporting documents that's the evidence that the conclusions are based on. Otherwise, this just becomes another back and forth, he said, she said, or whatever kind of thing, and we need the evidence, is what I'm saying. So I think that they need to release it yesterday, and with supporting documentation. and then we can debate this openly and in public, because that, I think, is the best disinfectant.
Yeah, no, and that's part of what I'm talking about is the openness and transparency. I mean, there have been all kinds of things that I have found that have gone on under this administration that nobody is talking about. As an example, on December 21st, 2017, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that blocks the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. However, the media never reported on it because they were too busy lamenting the tax reform bill and threats to eliminate UN funding. There are amazing things that this president has done that nobody knows about because nobody's talking about them. The only people that know about them are people that listen to, that read the out-of-the-way blogs or listen to shows that, and I'm not saying, believe me, by no means am I saying that I'm a household name, because I'm not. I'm not very well known. I mean, I'm popular in certain circles and in certain cities. I can, like, when I travel, people will be like, "Oh, dude, I listen to your show all the time. I follow you on Twitter." In my home state, nobody knows who the hell I am. I kind of like it that way. But but when I travel, because I'm syndicated all over the place in a bunch of different places, people, if I'm out of my home state, people recognize me and they come up and they talk to me. And it's happening a little bit more now at home too. But it's just one of those things where, you don't get real news anymore unless you're going somewhere to find it, because they don't report real news anymore. I mean, the CNN might as well just rename themselves TMZ. All they've been talking about I mean, that's like this new story now that's coming out with Nikki Haley, and supposedly she's having an affair with President Trump. If this was a liberal White House and a conservative reporter had floated that, they would have been shot on sight. Period.
Well, yeah, this is the double standard that now that Trump he is a conservative. He's governing like one. He's talking like one. And we can actually get into that. That's kind of related to the whole DACA discussion, because he's getting a lot of heat from the kind of the immigration, I'll call them the anti-immigration hawks on the far right. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we're getting this weird almost entirely negative view of Trump and all his people, and they're making up stuff. This affair thing, it's ridiculous on its face.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's crazy. And then, of course, now the story's changing with this, this supposed porn star that he may or may not have had an affair with 6 years ago. Look, the dude wasn't president back then. I don't really care what he was doing 6 years ago, in or out of the bedroom, or who he was doing it with. What I care about is before that man got here, this country was in shambles. The economy was a mess. Everything that the liberals had said was going to break things if Trump came into office is actually what's been fixing things. That's like before I got out of the car today, I heard FedEx just announce that they're investing money back in their infrastructure and they're giving pay raises and bonuses to their employees. The liberals swore that if we gave big evil corporations bonus or tax cuts, all they were going to do was line their pockets. Apple's investing hundreds of millions of dollars back into this country. FedEx is investing hundreds of millions of dollars back into this country. Amazon is about to build a second headquarters. All of this is mainly because we're making the environment more friendly for businesses in this country again. Michigan is about to start building cars again, for God's sake. I never thought that would ever happen again, because that's what everybody, including Republicans, has always told us, that it doesn't matter, those jobs are gone, they're never coming back, we have to move on, we have to find a way to innovate, we have to do this, we have to do that. Trump signs one tax reform, cuts business tax rates all of a sudden. I mean, when you have car plants that are moving from Mexico to come back to America, that should tell you something, because up until now, Mexico's been one of the most friendly business-based clientele places on the planet. That's why everything was moving there. They're in China. That's where everything was going. Now things are coming here. What does that tell you? And why is nobody talking about it? I even saw a liberal friend today on Twitter when I started talking about, because there was this hashtag that started trending because of a certain person who shall remain nameless, because he was pointing out that anybody who starts a tweet with I'm no fan of Trump, but, so friends of mine started a hashtag. So I got in on it late last night after one of the shows. I said I'm no friend of Trump, but if Barack Obama had managed to turn around the economy in 1 year the way Donald Trump is, I might have voted for him in 2012. So a liberal friend of mine says, well, so what's so great about the economy? I'm not seeing anything. I was like, are you seeing all the news about all these businesses that are giving raises and bonuses? Well, it hasn't done anything to help me. I'm like, so it's all about you? I thought liberals were about collectivism. I'm confused.
Well, there's a definite lack of consistency in nearly every position that the left takes, and it's one reason I no longer think that way. It's not. My brain tries to be logical about decisions, especially that deal with public policy and taxation and the conservatives used to be smeared with this whole trickle down economics, and I take the opposite view. It's the Democrats. What they offer is trickle up poverty. I mean, it's almost everything they do is the opposite. The conservative fiscal policy works, and we know it works. Yet they have this weird. I remember, what was that guy had egg on his face? Krugman, or what's his name? He said that if Trump won, the stock market would never recover. It would be a total disaster, and it's been in record territory every day it goes up. So they're all they have is theories, Rick. They have theories and their feelings, and theories and feelings don't make good public policy.
Well, that much is most definitely true. All right, so believe it or not, we are just about out of time. So why don't you again give out your social media contacts, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I am on Twitter at I'm Social Claude on Twitter, and I follow back 99.9%. As long as you're not a porn star or a porn bot or some kind of spammer, I'll follow you back.
Are you discriminating against porn stars?
No, I just don't want to see them in my timeline. I'm not on Twitter for that.
So he's all like, if you're a porn star, don't follow me. And I'm like, Jenna Jameson, I'm over here. No, I'm just playing. All right, folks. Well, we are just about out of time. This has been the America Off the Rails show. If you like what we're doing here, do me a quick couple of solids. I want you to follow along with me on Twitter at Radio Host Rick. Also, follow along with the station, please, at KLRN Radio. Also, if you have any suggestions, comments, complaints, I was going to say something not very nice, but that's okay. You can shoot me an email at rick@klrnradio.com. That's going to do it for this particular episode. I'm going to wrap up a couple minutes early because I have gremlins starting to rear their ugly heads again, and I've still got a couple things I have to get finished before I can actually go eat dinner. So you guys have a great night. I will be here back actually in just a couple hours for the Robinson and Wright show. It's a Friday night double shot of yours truly. We may actually transition the Literally game over there as well. I think that might just become like a Friday night rule for both shows. Just because, it's Friday. Everybody wants to get drunk on Fridays. What the hell? Well, except Claude and except me because, my boss has this rule that we can't actually drink while we're doing shows. The humanity. All right. But anyway, we will be back with you here in a couple hours. Take care. God bless. Let me actually get something queued up here now that it's actually listening to me again. See, this is what I'm talking about. I cannot work under these conditions. No, I'm just playing. We'll see you guys in a couple hours. Stay tuned. Oh, yeah, before I forget, full lineup as well. Vetoes are back, so they're up here in about a minute. We have a 2-hour special for Jesse's Coffee Shop, so she'll be on from 9 to 11. Dan and I will be back at 11, and for tonight, Behind Enemy Lines will be on after us, since Jess has a 2-hour special. So lots of stuff to listen to. Stay tuned. See you guys in a bit.